Welcome to The Business Strategist, the show for CEOs and founders ready to scale fast, lead smarter, and build a business that doesn't rely on them. I'm Adam Strong, award-winning strategist, former elite athlete, international speaker, and 3 times best-selling author. After 3 decades in business, I know exactly what it takes to grow, scale, and exit with impact. Each week, I dive into real conversations with industry experts, bold entrepreneurs, and clients navigating the uphill struggles of business, giving you the tools, the strategies to create more profit, more freedom, and more impact. Let's get into it. Are you planning to sell your business in the next 3 to 5 years? Then you already know it's not just about finding a buyer, it's about actually protecting what you've actually built. That's where our sponsor, Adam Benedict, comes in. They're one of the leading premier M&A legal firms trusted by founders to simplify complex exits, protect value, and deliver results. And if you want a smart, smoother, and strategic exit, visit adambenedict.co.uk.
Talk about stepping up! Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Business Strategist with myself, Adam Strong. You know, today's episode, I am so fully pumped, you would not believe. I've got my good friend, Jay Alec here. Now, Jasmine or Jay, but if you are on LinkedIn, he is everywhere, like literally everywhere. And he's probably one of the most influential branding and copyright experts in the world. And he has over 240,000 followers on LinkedIn. And you know what I love about Jazz is effectively, he is probably one of the most authentic, humble people that I know on the planet. Seriously, really, really cool guy. And I was just actually speaking to him offline. And I actually first came across him on the Chris Do Show. I'm a big fan of Chris's podcast and his YouTube channel as well. And he's worked with Fortune 500 companies. And, you know, it's just a really humble guy. And some of the things that we're going to be talking about, something that we've never spoken about, is a commenting strategy about how you can improve your personal brand and your visibility specifically on LinkedIn, because I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. And Jay has created an awesome strategy that LinkedIn has even featured in their new publications as well. So, Jay, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having me, man.
This is a great jam, man. Like, seriously, so looking forward to this. So I want to give a big shout out to Ben, and Ben knows us pretty well. And I watched that podcast. That was such a jam, man. That seemed like a lot of fun, right?
Shout out Ben Albert.
Absolutely. And you guys had I thought that you were like almost twin brothers because of your beard. And
it's the beard, man. Beard is, the beard is connecting people. I always say that.
Definitely. Well, anyway, let's get straight into today because I want to kind of start with some context now. Now, give us a bit of a background. Like, you've been writing for 15, 20 years, right? That's where your love and passions from is. Where did that come from? Like, how did you become such a passionate and thought-provoking writer?
Easy, man. Grew up on U.S. and German hip-hop. So I was listening to a whole lot of Eminem and 50 Cent growing up.
Yeah.
And just the way they used to write, right? The lyricism, the intricate rhyming schemes and patterns, that kind of just made me I fell in love with not just the art of music, but the art of expressing yourself, the art of writing, the art of the poetry side of it, the sort of double entendre, triple entendre, like triple meanings thrown here and there, and then you got to figure it out. Like, what does it mean? Oh, and then you got these reactions where it's like, oh, that's what he meant, right? The wordplay, all of that. I fell in love with writing through hip hop, quite literally.
Wow.
And I've grown up on, U.S. hip hop. That's how I've learned my English. English is not my native language, by the way. Yeah, that's it. That's the backstory. Just a whole lot of hip hop. Eminem and 50 Cent, man. Shout out.
I love that. You know, I don't know if you know this, but I actually met 50 Cent live in person. We was actually speaking on a on a live event. We was actually speaking in America at a business conference.
I'm
He
so
was
jealous.
speaking. Yeah. So like everyone kind of says to me, how did you meet 50 Cent? And believe it or not, because we're kind of similar ages, I also was a big fan of Vanilla Ice. Do you remember Ice Baby? So kind of similar, right? So he was at the same business conference, but that was just such a laugh. That was such a jam. Anyway, digressing here.
Still jealous, just so you know. Still jealous.
I told you we'd be good friends. That's interesting. Really interesting. Cool. So let's get straight into today's context around commenting and stuff like that, because I know that a lot of leaders and entrepreneurs in particular, right, they are really overwhelmed by the sheer amount of content that's on LinkedIn, because there is a lot of people using the platform now compared to maybe 5 years ago. But how can those people that are struggling with visibility more specifically, how does a simple commenting strategy fix this? Tell us more.
You got to look at LinkedIn as a new platform, right? Compared to what it was 5 or even 10 years ago, even just 1 year ago. Heck, LinkedIn is now this personal branding / content / business platform. And we used to know it as a job search platform / contact book, right? It was an online contact book for professionals. That's what it was. It's still there. Like that old look is still kind of there. But the focus, like as soon as you log in, it has a home feed, much as like any other social media platform, right? So you're in there and now you see that it's heavily content focused. So you either got to write and publish content or you can consume it and engage with it. Either way, there's no escaping it. That's the new LinkedIn. It's heavily content focused. Now, that being said, how do you gain traction? How do you gain visibility? That's the big question for every business owner. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur, if you're just fresh out of college, or if you're a seasoned pro with 10, 20, 30 years of experience. We all want exposure. We all want visibility for a business. But inside of that visibility, we want to build trust. We want to build authority. And we want to do it in a very authentic way that looks, feels, and sounds like us. So that ultimately people trust the right kind of person, right? You never want to build a following based on the wrong thing, the wrong sort of advice, the wrong sort of voice. And then when you start working with people, it's like, oh, who the hell is this person? Who the hell is this company, right? That happens more than you know, because people try to be someone they're not on social media thinking they can game the system, they can go viral much easier, much faster. But then when the business side of things, right, starts to get going, it's like, it doesn't line up. It doesn't align. It doesn't add up. So commenting, when you really think about it on LinkedIn, on all these posts and being present in these discussions publicly is the easiest way to not just gain visibility, but to gain traction for your own brand and your own growth. I always give this example, right? There's a huge paradox on LinkedIn. If you're posting every single day, quite literally every single day, 7 posts a week, right? People will see you today in that post, and they will not see you until tomorrow, same time when you're back posting again, that second post. That's a paradox, right? So you're having maximum output, 7 posts a week, but it's almost like minimum visibility per person. If you're looking at it like per person. But when you take into consideration comments and how you can just find other people's posts in the main feed and leave 20, 30, 50, 100 plus comments in a single day, people will now be able to see you 20, 30, 50, 100 plus times in a single day. And the better you do it, the more skilled you really get at commenting, the more you know exactly where to comment, how to comment, what sort of thing will get people back to your profile so that they can finally be in your DMs or on your website or on your newsletter, wherever you want them to be. That's when things really start to get interesting. So like you mentioned, I've devised this really cool engagement playbook or commenting strategy. And I shared it for the first time like 2 years ago. I tried it, obviously, for myself first. It went great. It was crazy good. And left and right, you get these tags and nicknames immediately. The commenting king, this of comments, X of commenting, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you all can do this, right? I didn't just figure something out that is revolutionary. I just tapped into what we're all using, the same exact platform, the same behavior that's all around us. I just maximized it to the fullest potential. And now I'm coaching it to people how to do it correctly. To me, it's on autopilot at this point, the engagement strategy, but coaching it to people and showing folks, especially B2B folk who aren't open as much to putting themselves out there, right, to expressing their thoughts so boldly and publicly, that's where the real fun starts, man. So I'll put a pin in this for now. And yeah, I don't want to drag on this answer, but the comment strategy is really fun. Like commenting on LinkedIn to me is a whole lot more valuable than just posting. Posting will only get you so far.
I never ever saw it from that perspective. I think it was probably a misconception, right? You listen to the big gurus of, say, the Gary V's of the world, or, Jay Abrahams or whatever it is, and you kind of read their marketing books, which probably are now like 5-10 years outdated, of course, but that's marketing for you, about the fact that you need to post and post and post and post and post. And it's interesting because I've been religiously posting, I reckon, pretty much, I wouldn't say every day. I would say on average 4, maybe 5 times a week or whatever it is. And now you're kind of adding a different dimension to my thought process. Is kind of like, holy shit, like I never thought about this as a kind of an engagement tool more than anything else. I always thought of, I need to just create more and more content, right? But let's talk about this, because I want to talk about pros and cons. Are there pros and cons between commenting and posting, between the two? Have you found any pros or similarities or any patterns between the two?
Absolutely. When you really think about it, posts, right, are evergreen. They're going to stay on your profile. And the second the person opens up your profile, it's right there, right? And they can just scroll back and they can see those posts, because it's much fewer posts compared to so many more comments, right? The ratio is like 1 to 1. In my case, it's literally 1 to hundreds, right? One post to hundreds of comments, quite literally. And the real con, I'll start with the negatives because I want to end on a positive note. I want to be, inspiring. The con of commenting is time.
Yeah.
You got to invest your time in it. And that's when people really start to have a gripe with it, because they start to say things like, oh, I don't have all day to sit around on LinkedIn and just chat around with people in these random posts. I'm a CEO. I'm a business leader, right? Okay. And then I give them these shortcuts, meaning I give them these time management techniques, and I give them, commenting sprint challenges and things like that, where it's like I make it super easy for you to do it in like 15 minutes at a time, 15 minutes in the morning, like 15 minutes in the afternoon, right? And then it's like the next sort of complaint is, yeah, but I don't want to be in all the wrong places. Am I really commenting where my target audience is? Which is a legit question. And then I tell them the strategy, which is you need to be commenting on X person's posts. You need to be commenting in these people's posts, right? You need to be in X industries. And then the other thing is like, yeah, sure, I may do all of that, but how do I know my comments are really going to bring me that visibility that you're so promising? And then I'm like, well, there's a way to writing similar to how you write a book, similar to how you write a post, similar to how you record a song. There's good music, there's bad music. There's good videos, there's bad videos. There's great books, there's awful books, right? Something has to grab people's attention.
True.
And there has to be something inside the content that people gravitate towards, meaning they need to be able to connect with it. And that's when I devised one of the main rules of commenting that everyone is now using in the world, which is never for the author only, meaning the author of the post. If you're going to leave a comment under a post, here's what that looks like. Adam, you just posted something, right? And let's say the topic is, 7 strategies to do XYZ, whatever that is.
Right.
And then I may just say, this was immensely valuable, Adam. Thank you.
Yeah.
At face value, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that comment. Absolutely nothing. But you got to look at it from a strategic perspective. Because remember, you just complained to me. I don't have the time. I want to be in all the right places. I want to make sure that it resonates with people. But you have now literally just now, only spoken to Adam. You're not speaking to that many people. You are literally only addressing Adam. You said, this was so immensely valuable, Adam. Thank you so much. And if thousands of people today are seeing that same exact post and they're seeing your comment as well, guess what? They're not going to react to it because there's nothing in it for them.
Yeah.
Nothing. But because Adam has posted 7 strategies to do XYZ, why wouldn't we flip that commenting strategy on its head? And we never talk to the author only. Instead, we talk to everyone reading the post. Everyone. Meaning, we're now going to say something like, love all of these. Here's an important number 8 that you may have overlooked. And then you share your point of view. A piece of advice from an expert that Adam may have overlooked in your own words. You didn't discourage what he wrote. You didn't minimize it. You didn't, diminish whatever he was saying in those 7 strategies. You just said you may have overlooked. This now increases attention of people. And because all those 7 were relatable, right, and connectable, now you're giving them an 8th one, and you're the reason this post is now going to get even more valuable. I always give this comparison. Think of the main post as a movie, but think of your comment below it as a post-credit scene. Meaning those two need to be connected. They're together. They're part of the same thing. They can't, two things pulling in different directions. So your comment essentially needs to be an add-on to the post. So that's been working really well for myself, for everyone who follows me, my community, all of my clients, really just going to posts and providing extra value. But you're providing that value from your own point of view, right? From an expert's own point of view. Because if everyone does this, every single comment is going to be different. That's the beauty of your own POV, right? Everyone's going to have a different point of view. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. Everyone's going to have different levels and years of experience. So everyone's naturally going to have different advice, which is great for the people who are scrolling through the comments and looking to learn even more. They could be learning so much in a single post. And then, down the line, I've also devised something called the commenting matrix, the LinkedIn commenting matrix, where we have these 12 stages of one single comment, right? So take this as an example, right? We've written a very insightful comment. It's point number 8, right? We've added something additional to the post. But at the other end of it, there's really 2 things happening, Adam. One is authority for you, the comment. You get more authority, you get more visibility. People will start to click on your profile. And as a result, they may end up just following you, which is great, the minimum action. They may end up messaging you, or they may end up paying you and hiring you right on the spot.
Sure.
But on the other end, what happens to the author? The author also benefits from these sorts of comments, because that post now attracts an audience, and it doesn't stop there. They actually stay on the post, which, according to the algorithm, is a really great metric for a really engaging post. When you really think about it, just take your own LinkedIn media consumption as the use case. If you're scrolling through the feed, you'll see a whole lot of posts. Well, you will just press like and keep scrolling. You didn't stay on the post. So that like, even though it's a public metric, it isn't as valuable for the algorithm, where the algorithm feels like, oh, we should push this post to more people. You could have 1,000 likes on a post with 10 comments versus 100 likes on a post and 100 comments. That post is going to get pushed into madness. That one with 100 comments, just because it's that much more valuable.
But also with the audience that's connected to you, they also get a notification that you've commented or made a comment on other people's posts. Right? That's exactly where it gets
90% of the notifications these days, and I'm someone who's to blame. I was on a call back then with one of the LinkedIn product managers, and I was asked for feedback back then on these new features and this and that. And all I was talking about back then, you need to put more effort into commenting. You need to put more effort into commenting, everything. And one of the suggestions was, more commenting related notifications. That's why you now have like all comments, only replies on my own post. Like you have these filters inside the notifications, but nonetheless, like 90% of the notifications are comment related, which is great, because now you're able to not just depend on your main feed. You can also just depend on your notifications to see not what's happening in your own little bubble, meaning your posts, but in your entire network, because you're going to get notified of really, cool trending or if someone in your close network has commented somewhere, things like that, which is great. It always gives you more content to learn from, but also more more content to engage with, which is, again, great. You don't have to look for it, actually.
Love that. And so we've covered most of the cons there. What were the pros? I mean, we kind of blended some pros in there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Obviously, it's a very proactive strategy. It's very beneficial in any way you look at it. So there's not going to be a whole lot of cons other than timing and where and how do I comment, right?
Yeah.
But as far as the real legit benefits, I'll just give you this particular stat. So I've been posting on LinkedIn for almost 1,000 days now.
Wow.
And every single day, I've gotten a minimum of 100 followers. Minimum 100 followers. But I haven't posted every single day. So I've been active. The total is 1,000+ days, but I haven't actually published a post every single day. What I mean by I've been writing and I've been posting is I've been posting comments. I've been writing on those days where I weren't publishing my posts. I was writing comments instead. And I'd argue that you need to publish a post every single day. In fact, I only, on average, publish 3 to 4 posts per week, but I never skip commenting. Not a single day of the week, even Saturdays, Sundays. Commenting is a must, a daily must. Now, the con there is how much time. Again, for me, it's like I get 1,000+ comments on every single post. I stay for a full hour as soon as I publish a post. That's non-negotiable for me. We have this thing that we call posting and ghosting. I try to never do that. So I never schedule my content out as well, right? I don't do that either because I feel like I could schedule it and then something happens. Like I have to go somewhere, I have to pick my kid up. A million things could happen. And I'm not there to engage with my community. And for the algorithm, that sends a clear message. It's like, hey, dude, there's all these people here to see you and you don't give a flying duck, right? And it's like, there's a risk of being shadow banned, et cetera, et cetera. But those are deeper topics.
Yeah.
Posting and ghosting is a thing you should never do. Which brings us back to the real value of commenting, which is building a community. And the real value of it is you're not just building a community in these other people's posts. Because you're now so supportive of so many people, because people can now see you everywhere. As a result, they get on your profile, they start following you, they start DMing you, they start connecting with you. And the more you post, the more comments you're also going to get on your own posts. A lot of times people ask me like, Jay, I'm posting, but I'm not getting any comments. My first question is, how much are you actually commenting elsewhere on other people's posts? And then that's when you start to sort of get answers like, not that much. And I'm like, well, there you go. It's a two-way street.
Yeah. If
you expect support from other people, you first have to dish it out immensely, right? In order to get crumbs of a crumb of support back on your profile. That's just the way it works. I've done it for years. I've been commenting. There was a certain period where I was commenting 500 times per day. Plus.
Holy moly! Wow.
Yeah, because I used to spend 4 or 5 hours per day on LinkedIn alone. At that point, my business was kind of growing, and now it's running on autopilot. We're doing so much where I don't have that time anymore. Luckily, right? But if you genuinely do have the time, especially if you're a solopreneur, right? If you're someone who's just started their own business and you do have the time, you don't have as much clientele, you have the time to just raise your own visibility. Go out there. And if anything, if none of these things that we've just covered today work, if anything, you're going to make some friends. You're actually going to make some really cool connections because you're going to be talking to people all day long. So someone will notice you. If you don't get invited to a keynote, you're going to get invited to a coffee chat.
There you go.
If you don't get approached for your services, you're going to get approached for the level of quality of your comments. People are just going to say, hey, man, I love what you're putting out there. Let's connect. Yeah. So either way, there's benefits to whatever way you do it.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to make you aware of a brand new tool that we've just created called the Exit Readiness Assessment. Now, it is for founders and CEOs that are looking to exit from their business operations. Now, it doesn't matter even if you're not looking to exit right now, I would highly recommend to go and take the assessment straight away. It helps you to identify areas in your business that you need to work on to help you towards that exit strategy. And at the end of it, you get a personalized report on some of the areas that you're doing particularly well in and some of the areas that you need to make some improvements to. Make sure you head over to readytoexit.scoreapp.com. That's readytoexit.scoreapp.com. Enjoy. Yep, love that. It's kind of based on the premise of Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, right?
Basically, it really is like that. Because you can't expect people to show up on your own content if they don't see you proactively doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a big believer that the more you help someone, the more that you get back 10 times, right? And I think that you hold that same philosophy. I love that. Some good stuff. What I was going to say, let's talk a little bit about common pitfalls around and mistakes of building a brand on LinkedIn, because I see so many people, and you've seen it so many times, right? I mean, you know, maybe it's a misperception thing. Maybe it's kind of, and I think it's a lot of it's to do with psychology more than anything else. There's like, oh, I heard this by this guy or this girl, or this person's doing this or this person's doing this. And there is just, I think it's kind of like we're swarmed with the sea of misinformation about what best practice looks like and what doesn't look like. What's your thoughts on that?
Thank you for the question, first and foremost. Now, I speak about the same exact thing a lot in my content, just because people look to me as the authority on LinkedIn rules and trends and what's working, what isn't. Like, they genuinely come to me to see what is working. And I'm very happy because we are coaching so many people, and we're coaching quite literally the best creators on the platform how to do it even better. And we succeed, which is great. I always tell people, like, what works for me may not work for you. So you just got to test it out. I can give you the baseline. I can give you all the rules in the book. But if you're looking for some sort of magical recipe that's cookie cutter, copy paste, applied to every single person, it doesn't exist. There is, although, a recipe, right, where we know what sort of approaches work. Now, what sort of approach or the form of that approach you will choose and what form will work for you. Like, for example, the commenting bit. Right? If I'm doing it 500 times a day, I have the time. You don't. So you can't do it. But on my end, I'm growing hella fast. When I was doing that, I kid you not, Adam. So on the days that I wasn't publishing posts, only based on my commenting activity, some days, I told you the minimum was 100 followers per day. Some days it was 1,000 plus followers, new followers per day. Only through comments, 0 posts.
Wow.
So if you're looking at me then and my growth trajectory and you're feeling like, oh, I want to do the same thing that Jay's doing, it's not going to work. Again, I had the time back then and I was growing really fast because I understood the value of leaving all these comments, but you may not. So if you're only doing 50 a day, best believe you can expect a much slower growth trajectory, a much lower growth rate. So there you go. In terms of, now, let's look at the content, for example. I'm someone who does LinkedIn coaching. I didn't always used to do this, by the way. I was kind of pushed into it based on the success I've had on the platform. I genuinely was. Like, back in the day when I first started publishing content on LinkedIn, I was talking about brand strategy, brand messaging, ads, copywriting, like more specific copywriting, right? Broader. Right. The broader topic of copywriting, but like very specific strategies in marketing. The way I talk about copywriting now is LinkedIn related. I call it LinkedIn writing. It's much different, right? That one was, a different thing. But over time, I've learned that through my audience's reactions. They've told me, hey, man, we want to hear more from you on the LinkedIn side of things. But when you really then now look at what's going on here, what did I just explain? I'm literally on the platform called LinkedIn, talking about how to grow on LinkedIn. So naturally, I have a much larger pool of an audience. I have a much larger pool of clients, and you can't expect to have the same thing again. So you have to look at it from your own perspective. What industry are you in? Oh, I'm a carpenter. You're not going to have the same size audience as me. As simple as that.
True.
And then when you take a look at the content strategy of things, I actually just published a post about it today. The post says, if it's okay to lose inspiration during the year for your LinkedIn posts, for your LinkedIn content. It's okay. It's normal. But let's make sure it never happens again. So I shared my strategy. Like, what things do I post about so that I don't burn out, so it doesn't feel boring to me or my audience? And I gave people 2 rules. The 2 rules are essentially 2 content brackets. You can devise this strategy in any number of ways, but for me, it's business topics, so related to your business and your expertise, and belief topics. So for me, and I always say this to others as well, business topics should be at least 3, but maximum 4. No more than 4, no less than 3. In my case, these topics are personal branding, LinkedIn growth, and writing. That's it, and writing. But people now know me for this. Now imagine if I also started talking about graphic design, website design. It's like, what am I even known for? Like, who am I, right? But these 3 are like very tight-knit. They're very close to my business, to what I actually do and teach and sell. So I'm sticking to those. These are my business topics, my educational topics, my expertise topics. But I also have the belief topics. Beliefs are essentially all the little morale / culture / who am I as a person things. And I love to talk about kindness, supporting others, helping others win. Why? It's simple. Since day one on LinkedIn, on social media even, I've shared 100% of what I know, and I stand by that. And everyone who follows me, they know I genuinely share 100% of what I know. And as I'm learning, as I'm growing, as these new trends are coming, these new stats and analytics are coming in, as I'm testing, I'll share it with everyone. You don't have to test it out. I'll test it out for everyone, right? So for me, kindness and supporting everyone, big topic that I talk about. But notice how this is not business related. This is just who I am as a person. And I also love to talk about underdog stories. I love to talk about these from A to B stories, but they don't necessarily have to be LinkedIn related. They're more inspiring / motivational. Why? I'm someone who's from Bosnia. It's a very small country. Half of the world doesn't even know its name. It doesn't even know what it is, where it is. So I have a deeper mission to put Bosnia on a map. I'm in it for the legacy side of things. I'm not just genuinely in it for the business side of things. Yeah. So I'm very proud to talk about these, underdog stories. And it resonates with people because people come from all across the world. And you could be from, I don't know, Chattanooga, right? And you can relate to that because it's a smaller area. It's not a country. It's a city. It's a place. It's a region. But people relate to people. As simple as that. So why does this strategy work, right? These 2 brackets. So 3 to 4 business topics and a few personal beliefs topics, because it's plenty educational on one end, but it's also very personal.
Yep.
And I always say you got to have both if you're looking to build a very strong brand.
Yep.
The personal brands on LinkedIn who are information only, they don't have a very strong community. They don't have a very strong connection with their audience because it's basically just information. And it's like, what can you do? And you can just buy. That's it. Done. There's no real connection other than, oh, I need this today. Let me buy it. And then it's done. And then you may completely fall out of that bubble. You may stop following them once you have that first purchase. But the brands that actually, the personal brands that build an emotional connection with their audience, now you have something that benefits not just your community and your follower growth, it also benefits your business. Because when you really think about it psychologically, we're not just driven by the value of a service, right? When we're making purchasing decisions to actually say, hey, I want to work with this particular person. We're not just driven by what they're saying about what they do. It's also about how they do it. It's also their approach to people. It's also how they sound, their mannerisms, their tone of voice, the style of teaching, all of that. But unless you give people that as well, that on top of the educational / informational bit, you won't have as much authority or impact on people. As simple as that. And I've seen it time and time again. I've coached hundreds of brands on LinkedIn and beyond. Every single time, those stories are what gets the job done. Those stories are usually, fun fact, the most converting types of posts. It's not the educational ones. The educational ones are what sort of builds interest. It builds interest. It builds interest the more you do it. But the personal stories, they seal the deal. Because then you're like, okay, now I want to work with this person, right? You get this emotional connection. And emotions, they drive action.
Yeah.
That's psychology 101, right? Emotion drives action. It's not information, right? The information has to sort of hit me somewhere in the feels, as Gen Z would say, right? It has to hit me in the feels. So yeah, another long answer. Sorry, listeners, but hopefully you're getting some value out of this.
I mean, listen, I agree with you. I mean, I found that when I publish personal stories, people then have a good ideology of my character, my personality, my core values, which you've highlighted, but also it helps create that relatability. Do you know what I mean? That's what I found. And I've actually found that engagement and people's opinions about me and what they may or may not think about me, which, I don't really care, but whatever. Actually, it's just really interesting to see because, again, it just gets people's thought patterns going about you. And you're absolutely right. Most information out there anyway can be found on YouTube, on Google, on LinkedIn, whatever it is, right? It's
exactly.
Kind of the sea of sameness. You've got to correct that differentiation, as I like to call it, that, how are you different from the market? So I love that. Brother. Just I want to backtrack really, really quickly because you said something that really kind of got my brain thinking. Which
was it the Chattanooga thing? Because that was. I was listening to a Kane Brown album on the way here. So Chattanooga, he's from Anyhow, what was the question? Sorry, man.
The question was, how the hell do you comment How do you manage to comment 500 times a day? Like, have you got like some sort of
fun fact? So
go for it.
I don't use AI. I don't use any automation software. In fact,
that's good.
Because people are in so much disbelief. Like, how do you do it, man? To be fair, I no longer do 500 a day. I do 150, 200. I'll do 250 these days at most, because I no longer have the time.
Sure.
I got family.
Yeah.
I got a business to take care of. I got all these things, and I want my freedom. Yep. I want my freedom back. So, fun fact, I actually host live sessions, live streams every single day that I'm posting with my community. Every single day that I publish a post, in the comments, I'll drop a link to a live stream, which is a video room, and everyone can join for free. And what I do there is essentially I do a screen share of my laptop, and as I'm commenting live, people can see it like in real time, like super fast fingers, Twitter fingers. And I'm talking to people, but then it's like people learn on the fly because they can just unmute themselves. They can ask me certain questions. So my community chats, my daily community chats are essentially me showing people how I do things, letting them into my world, but also giving them on the fly LinkedIn masterclasses, quite literally on the fly. It's free coaching, right? And because I'm launching my paid community, most likely next month, everyone's been waiting for it, man. 3 years in the making. I'm hosting these sort of sessions now as a preamble, as a preview of things to come. Because if you're getting so much value and so many insights by me not even saying a thing, right? Just by looking at how I do things, plus me actually saying things, and I'm literally just saying them on the fly. Imagine what you're going to be getting in the paid community, right? When we're doing legit themed, dedicated masterclasses and coaching sessions. So yeah, fun fact. I'm just fast, man, with how I write. I'm fast with how I react. People see it all the time. And 90% of the folks who are in those community chats, they're very silent because they're just watching. And then I want to tell them, like, speak up, please. Someone unmute themselves. Then they're like, no, man, we're just watching you go. We don't want to interrupt because you're so fast. You're everywhere. You're scrolling, you're typing, you're doing the tab, tab, tab. And then it's like enter to leave the comment. I don't have to move my mouse, right? I just type fast.
So is that like, so when you're saying that you do a live stream into the community, I'm assuming that you're streaming a LinkedIn live into a LinkedIn group. Is that correct?
No, I'm actually doing it on a separate platform. So for all my coaching calls and for everything, I use a platform called Whereby. I don't use Zoom. I don't use Teams. Whereby, I've used that since they weren't even Whereby back then. I've used it for 5 years now. It's just an open link and it's a fixed link. Every single day you can just join there. Even if you haven't been there for a while, you don't have to check anywhere for a link. You don't need an email invite. You don't need to sign up for a newsletter. I don't need your email. You can just check the comments. The link is always there. You can just join in, hop on in, and look at the screen share, look at what we're doing. There's a community chat, there's reactions, all the good stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to do it, man, for my community, just because I feel like, yes, I've shared so much, But if the people weren't there all these years, right, what do I have to show for? So I'm still doing it for the community. I'm still doing it for the people. And yes, I am launching a paid community, but that only means that the stuff that's in the community now is going to be that much more valuable. So, if I've been sharing all this stuff for years now, and you were like, this should have been paid for, this shouldn't have been free. Just imagine what I have in store for that. So yeah, I'm pretty amped. As you can see, I'm very excited, confident in the product that I've built. And the community is going to be amazing, man. There's a whole wait list with hundreds of people already, which just blowing my mind already. And we haven't even launched.
Love that. Love that.
What if buying a new appliance felt like a win for your home and your wallet? Save up to 50% plus up to an extra $600 on select major appliances at the Best Buy Appliances Labor Day sale. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Just out of curiosity, you said about paid community, which is kind of cool. There was something else that came off, but I've kind of completely lost it now. Anyway, train of thought's completely gone. Talk to me a little bit about the 7-step strategy of the commenting, because I know that there's 7 steps, but we kind of talked about the first step. We talked about the last step. Let's talk about the other steps, if that's all right. Really quickly.
If you want to, I will pull up my LinkedIn commenting matrix right now.
That's cool.
And I will walk you through the whole thing, okay?
Let's do it.
So it's actually a very fun one because it's purely psychological, right?
Okay.
It's purely psychological. I'll just list out all the steps. There's 12 of them, but these are psychological steps to one individual comment, right?
Got it.
Okay. So it starts with engagement, meaning leaving a comment. But that comment turns into a conversation. That's number 2. The conversations the conversations at scale. Okay. So the third one is magnitude. So engagement, conversation, magnitude. Magnitude is when you do it at scale, when you do it in many, many different places. But that creates a connection with people. That's number 4, connection.
Love it.
The more you do it, the more people will come back to your profile. So that's now retention. That's number 5. Out of retention, because you now have content that you're also posting, the content is seemingly, to the random eye, more visible. It has a lot more likes, a lot more comments. Number 6 then becomes perception. The perception of your brand is now, this person posts very valuable content. Only because of the sheer number of comments that you're now also getting. Yep. Now, because you're able to talk to people and you have folks who are always in your comments every single day, they're waiting, you can now show them who you are. You can now show them your true self, meaning you're engaging with them on your own content. This is 50% of the way, right? All of this was through other people's posts, bringing you through your own. So that was 6 steps. So engagement, conversation, magnitude, connection, retention, perception. Now we're talking about your own posts. Next one, show people who you are every day. Personability. That's number 7. And out of personability, you have even more comments that you can now create. I call these pinned comments. Pinned comments, meaning under your own posts, you can leave your own comments. So it's like extra links, extra resources, bonus points, pro tips, calls to action, links to your newsletter, things like that. That's the creation side of things. Now commenting is sort of becoming a full-time job. So that's number 8, creation. But then because you're creating this multifaceted content machine, it's about expression. So this is now a content strategy. It's no longer just a commenting strategy, because you're going from, I'm going to be in so many people's posts. I want to be seen. People are going to stay. I'm going to post. People are going to stay on my posts as well. I will show them exactly where they are. I'm going to give them even more. See what we're doing here? This is a whole freaking content machine here, right? So what does it even mean? It's ultimately expression. You're no longer just looking at expressing yourself through one comment. You're looking at expressing yourself the same exact way through dozens or hundreds of comments. So number 9, the deeper we go is expression. You really want to make sure that because people are perceiving you a certain way, expression is authentic as possible.
Got it.
And you're no longer just creating posts. You're creating these mini posts as well. So you're expressing yourself multiple times all throughout the platform. But what does all of this do essentially? What does all of this do? It helps you stay top of mind for people. So that's number 10, staying top of mind. But the more top of mind you stay, right? Especially the more you do it, let's say with hundreds of people, with thousands of people. Now thousands of people know this name. The first thing you said to me at the beginning of this podcast was, you're everywhere. But that builds brand authority.
Yep.
Which is number 11. And ultimately, what is all this about? What's it about? It's about growth. Yeah. All of this together, that's stage number 12, right? It brings growth to your business. So just to recap, so we don't make it overly scientific, I feel like I just had fun one day and I came up with these steps, but it became this huge thing. The commenting matrix is legitimately like a staple on LinkedIn. Like everyone's referencing it. You'd be surprised how many times I actually get tagged on LinkedIn just so people are, talking about it in their posts or in their comments or in other podcasts or in their communities. So I'll just recap. Number 1, engagement. Number 2, conversation. Number 3, magnitude. So doing it at scale. Number 4, connection. Number 5, retention. Number 6, perception. Number 7, personability. Number 8, creation, because you now have an entire content machine. Number 9, expression. Number 10, top of mind. Number 11, brand authority. And last but not least, number 12, growth. So there you have it. And we have a blooper because Adam is no longer with us. I have no clue where he left, so I'm just going to pick up this podcast by myself in the hopes that Adam will come back very soon. So Adam, shout out to you. I'm hijacking your podcast. So you're still with us listening to The Business Strategist with Yasmin Alich now. And Adam is not here. He's going to come back very soon. I don't know if he's going to actually keep this inside the episode or inside the blooper reel or maybe nowhere. But either way, I'm just going to keep talking to you guys until he comes back. So we've talked a lot about the commenting strategy on LinkedIn, how we do it very strategically. But ultimately, we've sort of skipped one step, which is how to get leads and how to sign clients, right? When you really think about it, all of these steps are allowing you to get in front of more clients, get in front of clients faster, but show up in a much more authentic way so that people can trust you before they ever speak with you. Normally, people would sort of start to trust you or get a sense of who you are as a person when you first get on a sales call. But this happens way before. Adam is back, by the way, now. He's in the room. So Adam, what I've done, so we don't sacrifice audio quality, I've actually just went ahead and hijacked your podcast, and I've been hosting while you were gone. So welcome back to your own show, man.
I love it.
Please don't cut this out. This was great. I was talking to myself, but I'm hoping someone out there has actually listened.
I thought it was great, man. You know what it was? I went backstage because I was actually making notes. So that was what I was basically doing. I was kind of in deep contrast to, and that was basically what I was doing. But then I just kind of and then I kind of lost the button. I was like, damn it, where's the damn button gone?
Don't worry, man. I picked it up. All those years of hip hop and, being on radio. Yeah, man.
Love it. It's all good. I know I'm conscious of time now because I'm respectful of your time.
You were already gone, so I thought that was the end of it.
But I do have one last question before we wrap up. Why do you encourage people to write a PS comment in the comment section?
It's very simple. Because it's not in the comment section, by the way, in the post.
Oh, in the post. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's much easier to engage with a post. The thing I hate the most is reading a damn good, very valuable piece of content, and I have no clue what to comment below the post.
Right.
I've been in that same position. I know everyone has been in the same position, probably daily, on LinkedIn especially. If you're consuming content, you're going to read a whole lot of really great posts, but then it's like, what do I comment here? Like, what do I add? It's a really simple trick. Just enable the reader to actually not think about it. There's a really great book that I always reference. It's called Don't Make Me Think. And it's actually one of the founding marketing principles, psychological principles. Quite literally, you don't want to make your audience guess. You are in control of their actions.
Yep.
If you want to send them to a landing page somewhere, do not send them to a home page. Why? Because there's so many buttons. You want to send them to a very specific landing page, let's say to a contact page. If you're saying to them, sign up for my newsletter, send them to the freaking newsletter page, right? Don't send them to the home page where they have all these choices and they have to think. Again, keep this in mind. Don't make me think. It's a huge foundational marketing principle. So the same goes for your posts, right? If you're dishing out so much great value in your content, at the very end, make it very easy for people to engage with the content.
Yep.
So ask a simple question. I have 3 ways of asking a really simple question. I've tested these out. They work like miracles. Number 1, ask a question that requires a very short answer, up to 8 words. Very short answer. What's the best city you ever lived in? If you're talking about remote work, let's say you're in a new location, right?
Yep.
What's the best city you've ever lived in? Let me know. Chattanooga. Number 2, for example, yes or no questions. It's very simple again. You can just ask, have you ever visited Chattanooga? Yes or no. But the really great thing about this is no one in their right mind, right, would just say yes. They're going to explain why. So you're going to get really high quality comments. They're not going to look like bots, AI comments, right?
Right.
And number 3 is asking for numbers and percentages. Let's say I'm talking about how much time I spend on LinkedIn, how many comments I do, right? 500 at a certain point, whatever.
Right.
I can just ask, so how many comments per day do you leave? And then again, the same principle, right? No one in their right mind is just going to say 50. 50 what? They're going to write full sentences, a very, very well-written comment. For you, it means a lot. For the algorithm, it means even more because it registers it as genuine interactions below your post. Meaning people are not just reading, they're staying. And ultimately, that's what you want with every post. So that's why I encourage the PS, because there's so much good content out there and people are just letting readers walk out the door. And they're quite literally the reason their posts are flopping. And then the next step is, oh, my reach is low. Well, no wonder. Sorry, but that's the way things are, right? You're not allowing your community to stay. You're not allowing your community to be built.
Yeah.
Because you're just, hey, here's the value, do whatever you want with it. No, control the narrative, right? Make people stay and talk. And that's why I do additional sort of PSs. I call those pinned comments, right? And I'll do other questions, bonus points, another bonus point. I'll do infographics. I'll do external links, this and that. So there you go, man. That's why the PS.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Listen, we could talk all day, but I know we haven't got all day or all night for that matter. Anyway, first of all, brother, I just wanted to say thank you so much. This has been a jam. And I know that there has been so much content. Listen, I'm like a sponge. So like for me, I feel like I'm kind of in the hot seat here. This is kind of new stuff to me. And I hope that you guys that are listening in, by the way, I hope that Jay has been dropping some massive value bombs. He certainly has for me. But just before you go, obviously, you need to go find Jay over on LinkedIn. That is the platform that he mainly hangs out. By the way, do you hang out on other platforms or is it mainly LinkedIn?
I hang out on Instagram and Twitter. May do YouTube at a certain point in the near future. But for the most part, yeah, and I have a newsletter as well. Everything, all of that can be found at heyjay.com. That's hey minus J, HEI minus JAY.com. And then you can do the /newsletter /community /whatever. I do everything there, man. So if you want to get coached, just hit me up. If you want to join the community, hit me up. If you just want to enjoy the content and learn on the fly, follow on LinkedIn. Other than that, I really hope this was valuable. And yeah, definitely. Thank you for listening.
Listen, hopefully, guys, hope you've enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much for listening in. If you have, please go follow Jay over on LinkedIn and make sure, I always say this to everybody, make sure that you go over to Apple or Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast platform is, go leave a 1 or a 5-star review over on today's platform. So Jay, I want to say thank you so much again. And for you guys that are listening, thank you so much for listening. Take care and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.